Charles, though, who'd you have at 10? Because Matt and I both had the Bills at 10, and you had the Bills at 6. But who is your number 10
The
spot?
Atlanta Falcons. And I'm going to tug at your heartstrings here, because now that you are on this side of the fence in the media, we have talked a lot over the last 2 years about the Atlanta Falcons, and you've kind of stepped into my world about how frustrating that team can be. And I think last year, as bad as it went for them, and even 2022, I say to a better degree, there's so many drives where you watch them and it's just a machine. Like, they are cruising down the field. Run game looks great. Play action passes is working. And then they get to like the 25-yard line and it all just craps out.
You mean the red zone channel?
The red zone. The red zone, where they were usually on there for lowlights more than highlights last year. No. But I think if you can get where Kirk Cousins was last year before he got hurt, and I don't think this is me just coping as a fan to say this, like, he was playing the best football of his career last year before he got hurt.
It was. If
you can get that version back with Drake London, with Kyle Pitts, with Bijan Robinson, you still got Algier in the backfield, and the offensive line can take a step because they have some young guys on the interior. I don't see why they can't be a top 10 unit, like a fringe top 10 unit. I even think, having Mooney as a wide receiver too is a nice compliment to Drake London. I don't think this will be a world beater offense. I don't think it'll be great or super elite, but I do think that they have enough pieces and just enough on the offensive line where they can flirt with top 10 status. So I give them number 10.
Matt, where are you at with the Falcons offense?
Yeah, I consider them, and I think they have 2.5 really, really good skill position players. Kyle Pitts is the half, just because I'm a Kyle Pitts centrist. Like, I'm not one of these like fantasy dorks that are all the way out on Kyle Pitts at this point, but I'm not in the crew that's like completely, willing to write off everything. Like, I think last season he definitely just wasn't 100% healthy. That's why I'm going with the half there. But Drake London's awesome. I think they can maximize Drake London by moving him around the formation, because he's mostly just been a boundary receiver in Arthur Smith's offense. I think he's like a natural fit with what they're probably going to do with Zach Robinson. Bijan Robinson's obviously great. They have pretty good players on the offensive line. With the Cousins uncertainty, coming off the Achilles injury, that's why they just barely missed my list. But overall, I'm high on this unit.
Yeah, I have them as a top half unit, but not quite top 10. But if they sneak into the spot 10, 8, somewhere around here, I would be shocked.
But shoot, even if they're like 13th, that's a pretty signiugment.
Dude, I would take that in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the the defense though. The Falcons. Oh my God, so frustrating, because on this iteration, this version of the show last year, I had a hot, spicy take on the Falcons offense that just blew up in my face. And why I like the offense, though, was I like the offensive line. I don't think it's great, but I think it's fine. And I think it's, not true glaring weakness. They were kind of disappointing for me last year. Chris Lindstrom, I thought, had a rough first half of the year. Came on in the second half of the year. Didn't affect that PFF grade, though. Right tackle, Caleb McGarry, he's limited, but in this type of offense, it works. It's run game and play action. This is a McVay Rams, I think, a type of offense that they're going to run, which I think is going to be great for Bijan, because he's just going to be on the field doing all those things. Hopefully, they're doing even more under center. It was more of a gun run game last year, and I think Bijan will be a really good under center back. He's good at everything. But yeah, I just couldn't get over the hump. I don't like Mooney as much as most people do. I think he's more of a 3, and he's kind of slot only-ish to me, but he has some juice, and I think it's fine. Rondale Moore is more of a gadget guy than like a true 2 or anything. He was a running back last year. And I love London, though. I think we all do on this pod. And I think he's a star he's the guy that's going to break out really in this offense. I think you guys already hit on that. Pitts, like you guys, is already injured. So that I kind of just couldn't get all the way there. And you got almost a 40-year-old quarterback coming off.
Hey, he's 36. Okay.
30. I know we're the same class. So
once you're in your 30s, you just start rounding up and up and up.
That's the same.
So yeah, might as well be.
It's the same. It's the same. I love that tweet where it's like, here comes the old man who can barely get out of bed in the morning. Oh, this guy, 31 years old. Look at him go. Like,
I feel the same way.
My age of 40.
At 30, I can't get up.
I know. All right, so we're going to number 9 here. You guys both have the same team, I believe, at number 9, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. Charles, let's start with you. Eagles at number 9.
I'm really concerned about the fit between Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore, but it's just a respect to the talent. It's like I don't really see, unless they have wild injuries, I don't really see how this is like actually a bad offense. Could it be like inconsistent and frustrating? Definitely. I think that that's probably going to be the case, but anything worse than top 10 with the players you have assembled, I think would be a pretty big failure.
Pretty good. Yeah. Matt, your feelings on Kellen Moore, Eagles offense, where are you stand with them? Saquon Barkley, fantasy shares. I have no idea how to feel about that one either, but yeah. How do you feel about the Eagles
I almost feel the
right
same way as what Charles just said, which is like these players are too good. Although I grappled with the fact that the spoiler alert, Bengals are not in my top 10. And I kind of feel the same way of that. I have similar questions, which is just like, what type of offense is this going to be? You know, we'll save the Bengals discussion because they're going to come up for at least one of us in the top 10 here. But like with Kellen Moore, same thing. What he's done does not exactly map onto what Jalen Hurts has been for the Philadelphia Eagles. But which is a pretty significant question, so maybe I shouldn't just be like, once I put that aside, I mean, besides that, AJ Brown is like an incredible receiver. I think he could have had 2,000 yards last year if that offense didn't fall apart. I mean, he was pacing that way in the first half of the season, and there was no drop off in his individual play. I don't think Devonta Smith had his best year last year, but he's a player I'm still extremely high on. I think is one of the best twos in the league. You mentioned Barkley. Yeah, obviously from like a fantasy perspective, it's just, is he going to go score touchdowns or are they going to keep doing the tush push, which is still a pretty significant advantage if we're just talking about an offense moving the ball down the field. So yeah, this was really more of these players are probably better than yours. So I feel like even at 9th, that would almost kind of be disappointing if they're the 9th best offense in the league based on how good these players are. So that was sort of the compromise between the coaching and everything and that sort of big question, but how good these players are.
Yeah, I did not have the Eagles though. They were my sacrificial lamb. Eagles fans already love me, so that it'll be great. I'm not, again, I think this is the end run offense to me. It's too good to fail. But it's just like, I don't know if it's real. It's kind of, the players are very good. I think what Charles said, his first take on it might have up and down moments, but I don't know how good it is. And really, once it comes down to playoff time and everything, the Kellen Moore, Jalen Hurts marriage, I've mentioned this before on your guys' pods, is one of my most fascinating thing I'm looking at in the entire NFL. Losing Jason Kelce is huge, bigger than most offenses. I mean, period, not just because his talent, but also his mental side. So I kept them off, but I'm not saying they're 18th. I'm saying they're more like 11th. You know, they just missed the cut for me. I'm already spoiling the honorable mentions. But anyways, but my number 19, I know, it's great. No, I can't have it without it. Every time I do a ranking show, they're not happy with me. So screw it. So here we go.